My name is Rick Janson. I'm a realtor in Denver, Colorado, and have been since 2002. And the most unique selling proposition I've come across in all my years of doing business is save $10,000 or $25,000 when you move with me, or movers are free when you buy or sell with me. And to implement this in not only Denver, but all the 7 counties, including Boulder, as well as Summit County, Steamboat, Vail, Telluride, Aspen, I've partnered with Jake Wolf. Jake, thanks for joining us.
We're proud to go ahead and support you. You're one of the largest territory control owners in the greater Denver area and in the Boulder area. And you're growing a mega team, Rick. So we're proud to support you.
When we're looking at what is really going to set you apart on a listing appointment, think about that move that we talked about in the email. Think about the moves that you've experienced. I recently had a client move from Denver to Scottsdale and contacted 6 companies. And this is before I met Jake. 6 companies, and their quote was $30,000 to move from Denver to Scottsdale. Now, When you say, "Hey, Rick, how are you going to pay for movers?" I don't have $30,000. A commission on $1 million listing is $30,000, give or take. We're not going to set commissions here. But if you only make $30,000, you can't spend $30,000 to move somebody, right? So, Jake, what's the secret sauce? How are we at our team here, and for folks who join with us, how are we able to offer free moves to other folks? It just doesn't make sense financially.
So in order to go ahead and do this properly, we have to talk about the trucking industry, right? So getting a good idea of what's happening in the United States of America. So I'd like everybody to think about if you were a owner operator and you wanted to go ahead and drive your own semi, get your commercial driver's license, and go into business for yourself. Okay. So you would have to go to the banker and say, "Mr. Banker, I need a $250,000 loan for this nice Peterbilt semi and this trailer." And then what do you have to do? You have to create relationships with different people in logistics companies, manufacturers, dispatchers, distributors, and say, "Hey, I'm in business and I can go ahead and haul your things." So in the early to mid 2000s, technology really wasn't advanced to the point where it is right now. And so it was very cumbersome. You had to go old school. You had to go create those relationships. So historically, you would see a independent owner operator leaving maybe a town like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and driving a load to, let's say, Des Moines, Iowa. Once he delivers his load down there in Des Moines, a lot of times they were backhauling empty. Okay, so they didn't have good relationships with people down in Des Moines because their home base was kind of in that Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. So the manufacturers and distributors needed a better way to connect to available drivers, and drivers needed a better way to go ahead and connect to available loads. And the American economy has really been blessed because of it. So now there are technology hubs where you can go ahead and put all of your available loads out, and different independent owner operators can bid on them. So now you will see that same truck driver leaving Milwaukee, goes to Des Moines. He's at the truck stop, finds another load that he can go ahead and bid on. Now he's down in Texas. Now he's over in California. And then he finds some loads that goes ahead and works himself back towards home base so he can effectively run his business. And our American economy is blessed and unstoppable because of it. Okay, so with that being said, technology has linked us all together in such a fashion. And through that process, now manufacturers needed to go ahead and standardize the lane routes all across the United States of America because they needed to understand what the average cost was for a lane route so they could factor it into their cost of goods with manufacturing. So let's say I owned a manufacturing facility in Omaha, Nebraska, and my distribution was in Denver. I would need to know how much it would cost me on average so I could factor it into my cost of goods. So it's very competitive. Now, with all of that being said, when we understand what the average freight lanes are in the United States of America, and we then go ahead and analyze and take a look at the retail logistics space on what consumers are getting from companies such as Allied, Old Dominion, Mayflower, Pods, U-Haul, Ryder, all of the retail brands that are out there, it is extremely inflated over the top of the actual price of what it would cost for us to get independent owner operator drivers that are licensed, bonded, and insured to go ahead and do the exact same thing. And we're talking 60 to 70%. So to best understand this, let's go ahead and actually talk about a move that we recently did. There was a husband and wife that were selling their home actually in Denver, and they needed to go to Virginia. So they didn't know about our programs prior to getting into this situation. So they went to the retail marketplace. They got a quote from Allied for $24,000 to go ahead and move their household stuff. And we're talking a standard home, right? So 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, standard square footage. So that they needed one semi to go ahead and make the run. $24,000 was the price quote. They found another company that was a couple $1,000s less. Okay. So they were doing some price shopping. They had to put $5,000 down to that company. Moving day came, Rick. Nobody showed up. They actually got scammed. Nobody showed up. And I'm talking day 2 happened, and then day 3. And now the buyers are showing up with their moving company trying to go ahead and get into the home, and they're scrambling. So they went ahead and came across us. We took on the situation. We got into our network, and we actually overbought the truck driver for $1,500 more than what the average lane costs were. We hired a local company in Denver to load, a professional local moving vendor in Virginia to offload. And with overbuying, Rick, we were all in at $7,500 to go ahead and make that move. So here's $24,000 over here versus $7,500. So we are intentionally now keeping the prices down at a point where the real estate agents can go ahead and actually take a look at the moving cost and be empowered to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and cover this in full as a gesture at closing, or I'm going to go ahead and split this cost. So let's say the real estate agent puts $3,000 into the mix, and then the homeowner contribution is the remaining balance, or they can actually pass it along in full and ultimately help save their clients at 60 to 70% versus the retail option. So, but the bottom line is this: when you guys are now in a position to have a big, strong, unique selling proposition that helps these people with financial and personal convenience, it makes the mark versus your competitor. So what we stress is to all of our agents, just get the word out, say, hey, look, before you start talking to another real estate agent, come over here and talk with me first. No obligation. Let's find out how much you can save on moving expenses, because people just don't realize that they're getting ready to get into that $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 type moving situation if they're moving across their state or across the country. And a lot of people are moving right now, Rick. So
yeah, they are. And there's a big state to state migration happening right now too. And one of the things I noticed about this too is there are a lot of different ways to leverage this for marketing, right? So in my marketing, I say, hey, movers are free if you buy or sell with me. And anybody who comes on board with their team or their group who wants to take advantage of this sales proposition can reach out to me. My cell phone number is 303-589-2320. And whether you join my group or not, we can work out an arrangement. But movers are free when you buy or sell with me is a very easy, sticky, unique selling proposition that no one else is going to be able to match, right? The other way you can do it is say, hey, let's save you $10,000 to $25,000 on your moving costs. Now you're not promising to pay that $7,500 out of, again, let's say it's an $800,000 home. Take the industry average. Maybe you're making $20,000, $24,000, $30,000 on that home. You can afford to pay 25% referral fee if that somebody sent you that referral from Texas. So is 7,000 less than 25%? Is it maybe 30%? Is it less than a 40% referral fee? Absolutely. So if you're willing to pay 25 to 40% for a lead anyway, might as well give that to the home seller, home buyer, and give them an advantage. Now, if they're moving to Virginia, you can, call that agent, get a referral fee. Now you got 25% coming out of Virginia, and you can use that to subsidize the move. Or you can just say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, on the listing appointment, I'm going to dial in your address right now. I'm going to type in with our proprietary CRM. It's free to you to use. You can type in the address, a few details about the home, and within 24 hours, get a moving quote, typically speaking. You're going to get a moving quote, and you come back to that home seller and say, look, if I can save you $10,000 versus retail, will you sign with me today? Now you're not even promising to pay for anything. You're just saying, hey, let's just save you 10 grand, right? Or if I can save you 50%, would you move with me, right? Would you sign with me today, right? Now imagine if you're listening to this live or you're listening to this recorded, you're on a listing presentation and you bring your A game, right? You've downloaded the best listing presentation in the office. You've customized it. You're using KV Core. You're using whatever you use to create an amazing presentation. You've got your comps. You've got your facts. You've got everything going. You've got your past marketing stats. You're selling for 103% a list every single time in 3 days or less. Great listing presentation. Typically speaking, know me, like me, trust me, you're in. I'm coming in right behind you and I say, I've got the exact same stuff. Great listing presentation, 103% of market, selling in 3 days or less. Oh, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to save you $10,000 to $25,000 on your move. It's just an unfair competitive advantage.
So
when I saw this, I had to lock up as much of Colorado as I could for your benefit, so you can benefit from this. Jake, go ahead.
Rick, so the nice thing here is this, right? All of the real estate agents, everybody has the exact same struggle on being that first point of contact with a prospective home seller when they're getting ready to go ahead and make a move. Okay, so if you're putting out these types of unique selling propositions and saying, hey, look, free local and long distance moves, 90% of homes qualified, just come over here and check with me first. We'll find out how much you can save before you start talking to another agent. And then all of the content. Now, this is your unique selling proposition. So every realtor, and as you guys know, everybody should be creating some type of educational consumable content and sharing it out onto different social places, putting it into an email, just making sure that your brand is top and center of mind when these people need to go ahead and do something. So now content is actually a vessel that carries this unique selling proposition out to the marketplace. So it really changes the way that you look at content creation. And you can start sharing hyperlocal events and new construction tips and home fire safety tips. But on every single one of those pieces of information, your unique selling proposition of, if you're moving to and from Denver, check with us first. Most of our homeowners are seeing $10,000 to $25,000 in savings, no obligation. That's huge. It's going to make the mark from a personal convenience and a financial convenience for these homeowners. I had a real estate agent, Rick, very first year, using this unique selling proposition, 54 homes, $0 in marketing, 54 home sales, all because of the free move program. And you know what he did? He jumped into his cell phone and he called every single one of his friends and family and everybody else and said, hey, I don't know if you guys are talking to anybody that's thinking about possibly moving, but I'm approved here in my local area, and this is what we're doing different than any other real estate agent. So if you have a conversation with some folks, let them know, just come check with me first. I would love to go ahead and help them save all of this money that they're not even thinking about, which could be a down payment on your next house, which could be paying off the kids' college, which could be whatever, right? Taking care of debt. 54 homes, $0 in marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, it hits the mark from that convenience side of the house. So that's pretty important.
Absolutely. So what I want to do, and you had another example out of Las Vegas, I believe, one of the people that you founded this with, who came up with sort of the back end of this. He did 19 home sales his first month. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's unique, folks, and these are unicorns people who actually did the work, right? You have to do the work. You have to get the message out. You have to actually pick up the phone and make the contacts to make the sale.
I'll tell you a funny one, Rick.
We're not promising you free money.
One of the funny ones, we actually moved one of the senior vice presidents for DR Horton Homes. Okay, DR Horton was moving from one location to another. DR Horton didn't have a moving incentive for one of their executives. Heard about the message through one of our agents, and we actually helped with the sale and the purchase of a DR Horton home and moved them for free. So they came with us instead of actually working with the company.
That's funny. That is really funny. So one of the other things too, when we're talking about like these, everybody's talking about cash buyers from California and Texas, Chicago, New York, but specifically California, right? What do they do before they start researching for a realtor, Jake?
They're looking for, they're going on YouTube. They're trying to figure out the environment. They're looking at the culture of the community and social norms. They're trying to get an idea for where they want to relocate to. And then they're also starting to look for somebody who is reliable in that area to start with the home purchasing process before they go ahead and even put in a listing on their home, because they have to get that buy side and that relocation figured out first. And then they're usually looking at, how are we going to get all of our stuff that we accumulated throughout all of the damn years over there to Denver from California, and how much is it going to cost? So
they start researching movers, right? They're going to start researching movers. They're going to find our program, and they're going to find that program in California, for example, right? Now, Jake's lining up 50, maybe 100 agents in California on this program. They're finding movers. That agent is now in the door prior to anybody else, right? But guess what happens? That agent says, hey, where are you moving to? That agent says, oh, I'm moving to Denver, I'm moving to Boulder, I'm moving to Telluride, Aspen, all the places that we have licenses for this program. And they say, great, we're going to find you the agent in Denver, in Boulder that you need to work with. They go into our CRM. They find our group. They call us first. We are the very first person that they know about, that knows about this cash buyer coming from California, right? With $1 million to spend on a bungalow in Wash Park. So that agent now in California calls us up and says, hey, Rick, you're right now on the free move thing, right? I say, amen, absolutely. Great, I've got a cash buyer for you. Awesome. Now we've made that connection. They already know, like, and trust that agent in California because they just got them a free move. They now know, like, and trust us. We connected, and we're the only people they call, right? They're not going on Zillow. They're not going on Realtor. They're not going on ZBuyer. They're not getting 18 calls from other different lead sources. We've got them hook, line, and sinker. And those are the leads that we're going to be giving you guys, right? Like, I don't have time to service all the leads that are going to come out of this program. And so we need folks to service those buyers. And then we also need folks to get this message out on listing appointments in social media. And Jake has a fantastic geofencing program. Tell us just a little bit about this, because this blows my mind.
Yeah. So I've been in the marketing and advertising space since before social media, right? And now technology and connected televisions, most all of you guys have got smart televisions right now. So they're connected TVs, and you guys are mostly streaming a lot of your channels through apps. So a lot of folks now, they go to Costco when they're buying some extra toilet paper, and somebody says, hey, honey, look at that. There's a $500 65-inch ultra high def television. Let's bring it home. So what happens? You plug it in, and then it says, connect me to the internet. And then it prompts you to go ahead and watch and download all of your favorite channels, Nat Geo, History Channel, HGTV, Weather Nation. What happens is now you're streaming in app through the internet. So new geofencing technology and OTT commercial advertising allows for us to go ahead and identify all of the smart TVs in your zip code, and then place professional 15 and 30-second commercials on the TVs when those folks are watching it. So we have a very unique, unfair advantage to go ahead and actually communicate to all of the homeowners in your local area with Free Move USA type programs, prompting them to go ahead and find the agent that is certified in the local area, saying things like, make sure you check with us first before talking to any other real estate agent. No obligation to find out how much you're going to save or you're going to spend, or unless you do want to go ahead and give somebody else that money. So these are the things that we do, and we can directly find your consumers. So in addition, if any of our agents have, let's say, a list of addresses or your farm territory, and you're wanting to get these types of messages into your farm, all we would need is your addresses, and then we can find all the smart connected televisions inside the homes and purchase commercials. So very powerful.
So it's very, very powerful. And the combination, the 1-2 punch, right, of having the unfair advantage of the move, the unfair advantage of being able to contact the homeowner. When you look at doing Facebook ads, for example, because of all the restrictions, you have to do like a 15-mile radius, and all of a sudden you've got 200,000 people that have no relevance to any message that you're sending out whatsoever. But if you're wanting to dial in and say, hey, there's a neighborhood in Boulder, here's a neighborhood in Superior and Centennial, Wash Park, whatever you want to do, maybe I want to just drill down on 80206, we have that ability to hop right in onto their smart devices and broadcast professionally done for you 15 and 30-second commercials that are going to drive traffic to you, right? Drive traffic back to you when you're part of this program. So I'm going to drop in the chat right now a way to book an appointment with me. It's just go to phonerick.com. You can hop right into my Calendly and book a time to see how will this impact your business directly. Again, that's phonerick.com. You can also text me at 303-589-2320. You can get a feel for the website that we're using, freemovecolorado.com, what the value proposition is going to look like. We're doing advertising to HOAs. We're doing advertising on smart devices. We're doing advertising nationally. We're going to have this network of people from Chicago, Colorado, or from New York, Texas, California, everybody that moves to Colorado. We're going to have first dibs, right? from all these different referral sources, because Jake's out there spending tens of thousands of dollars finding agents to sign up for this all over the country.
Yeah.
We're going to leverage his new network of agents as a referral source for your business here in Colorado. And I just want to see that explode for you folks. I really do. Whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this on a recording. Jake, any final thoughts before we kind of terminate the recording and just open it up for Q&A?
Absolutely. So another side of this that most people need to start getting their head wrapped around is we're contacting all of the mortgage brokers across the United States of America so that they know they can refer their clients over to our certified move agents in the local area to go ahead and help save a lot of money. So they're using it as a hook to go ahead and start intercepting people who are possibly mortgage type movers or doing things like that so that we can go ahead and catch these referrals. And it just happened that about a month and a half ago, one of the mortgage brokers that understood our program was working with a military family out of Washington State who was relocating down to Central Florida. Okay, so they didn't have a home to sell in Washington, but they were working to go ahead and look and purchase a home in Central Florida. So the mortgage broker calls us up. We connect them with our free move certified agent in the local area. Then they get on the phone with the military family. Military family was getting a quote from Pods, ladies and gentlemen, for $19,000. $19,000 to move from Washington to Central Florida. Okay.
At that point, you just sell all your stuff and start over, Jake. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, they were very, very concerned. So we get involved. So the real estate agent is working on representing this new military family on the purchase of their home in Central Florida. So we come in, and this is one of the longest moves you can get your hands on in the United States of America. So we found a local moving vendor to help load all of the stuff. We had a semi 6 days across the country. We actually had a temporary storage facility. So we offload all of it into temporary storage, and then another crew come pick it up and move it into the house after they closed escrow. We were all in at $10,000 on this move all the way across the country with all of those services. The real estate agent that was representing the buyers kicked back $5,000 as a gesture. So that family only had to come out of pocket for $5,000 versus $19,000. We took care of everything else, which is huge. Absolutely huge. Another side of this too, I have a broker that works with Remax out of Montana, and she's in an area where median home prices are about $150,000. So there's not a lot of meat on the bone from a commission standpoint, but she realized really quick, like, hey, I can still use this unique selling proposition and tell everybody, come check with me. I can help you save 60 to 70% on moving costs getting to and from this part of Montana. So she's intercepting everybody else's leads and getting into the conversation first and passing along the whole moving expense, because ultimately it's great. We've seen, I would say 80% of all of the home moves in the United States of America could be covered by half of a seller's side commission on a home price point of $300,000 to $350,000. So 80% of the moves that you're going to get involved with, kind of in that proximity if they're making a move. So it's already low. And if you guys do split these options with the homeowner and you're passing along a little bit to them, because every single one of these transactions is unique, they're still ecstatic because they can't even get over to U-Haul and rent a 26-foot moving truck and start putting diesel in it and doing a DIY move. So
yeah, not for $3,000 that you really can't. And then you've got to enlist your friends. And the older you get, the less beer and pizza will cover. Truly, because you start breaking ankles and backs, and you're like, I don't want that free pizza. I'll just give you $100. Walk away.
So I had an agent out of the Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale area during Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, walks into his farm, and he went ahead and delivered Christmas candles, put them on the doorsteps to all of the people inside of his farm. And he went ahead and had a letter that he wrote talking about this new program and what he can go ahead and do. 4 listings from it. Why? Because it makes the mark from a personal and financial convenience. And it was funny because I was talking to him and the phone calls were, are you serious? You guys can do this? You're going to take care of my move if I go ahead and list my home. We're thinking about listing here at the end of January or February. And that's what we do.
Yep. Because folks, the consumer is thinking about that 19,000. The consumer is thinking about that 24,000. They're not thinking that you're covering a fraction of that. And because they're seeing retail prices, you're seeing the wholesale prices. right? You're going straight to the trucker, straight to the moving company, straight to the people who need the money, supporting local businesses, right? Supporting truck owners and local movers and all the people that really are, that's the industry we're trying to prop up here and support and give business to. But the consumer, the value that you're giving in their mind is 3x what you're actually paying for. And so they're 3x as happy.
Yeah. So it's important to understand that we are intentionally giving territorial control. So by working with Rick, it's very important because you would have the opportunity to go ahead and present this unique selling proposition to your existing sphere of influence, do some marketing, take advantage of this program, while your competition is not. So we knew that was important to go ahead and partner with brokers and team leaders and powerful agents because we stand behind you and support you. So we've got a full call center all set up. We're doing national advertising, professional commercials, and the phones are ringing. So we need folks that can do your core competency, get out and understand the program and represent your local area and be blessed and unstoppable here in 2022.
All right, thank you. We're going to wrap up the recording right there. And folks, I want to just open it up for Q&A. If anybody that's here live wants to take advantage of asking us questions directly, we'll open up for Q&A. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. You can contact me at phonerick.com or text 303-589-2320. Does anybody have a question? Jake, great presentation. Thank you so much for making it so clear. Does anybody
Absolutely.
live have a question right now?
Good deal. Well, be blessed and unstoppable, everybody. Rick, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you shortly.
All right. Thanks, Jake. God bless you.
See you guys.